Let's learn how to plot some points on a graph. So I'm going to start a new project. I will call it graph demo. And what I'm going to do is every time I click a point, it'll add another point to my graph. And I'm going to specify the point using the Y value of the point using a slider. And then the X value is just going to increase every time. So I'm going to put a button here, call this add point. Go ahead and fill the parent for both of these with their widths. And then where are the points going to appear? They're going to appear on a canvas. So I'm going to use a canvas over here. I'm going to fill height and width so the canvas kind of takes over the screen. All right, so coming over here, I need to keep track of how many points I've plotted and what the last Y I had was. So I'm going to create a variable called numPoints, and initially that's going to be 0. And I'm going to create another variable, which I'm going to call last Y, and this will also be 0. So whenever I click my button, I want to add a point to my canvas. So I'm going to go to my canvas, and when I draw a point, that's just going to be a circle. So the center of my circle, I'm going to take the number of points I have, I'm going to multiply it by a small value to get some decent spacing. So I'm going to get a multiply block. I'm going to get my number of points, and I'm going to multiply it by 5. And this is a number you can play with for different kinds of appearance on the app. Now my Y is just going to be what I selected on my slider. So it's going to be my slider's thumb position. And then make the radius big enough to be visible. So I'm going to go with a radius of 5. So now if I go ahead and connect to App Inventor. Oh, whoops, I just realized I forgot something of some importance. So I need to update the number of points I have every time. So I'm going to set the number of points to be the number of points I had plus 1. Plus 1. Like so. So I want to increase that every time, and then I want to change last Y to be the current thumb position of my slider. That's going to enable me to draw lines ultimately. But for now, I can move my slider around and I can draw some points. As I move the slider, they appear at different Y locations, and each time they move a little bit to the right according to my X value. In fact, I think 5 is maybe a little too close together. I'm going to go with 10. Refresh the companion screen. So now let's also do lines. So I only want to draw a line if I've got at least 2 points. So what I'll do is I'll say if the number of points I have is greater than, so I'm going to use, so this equals block can also be a greater than block. So if the number of points I have is greater than 0, then I'm going to draw a line between the last point and my current point. So I'm going to go over here to draw a line. And so my last point is going to be this minus 1 times 10. So let me grab a minus block. And actually, I'm going to just copy this outright. So if I am greater than 0, then this brings me back to the x coordinate I used for my last circle. And then by saving the last y coordinate, I can use that. And then for the other end of the line, I'm just going to use the same x, y coordinates that I employed initially. All right, so now if I plot some points, I get kind of a nice line diagram. And so there it is. That's an easy way to build a chart in App Inventor.